Beautiful souls, it's Kerry and I'm going to do a forward card oracle. So I'm using the Loving Words of Jesus, the Mother Mary deck, and also the Energy deck and the White Angel deck. So I'm just going to split the decks. I've got them all here in front of me. So we'll start with the White Angels and we have Invite a Miracle. So that is a lovely start to our reading. So generally we need a miracle when things aren't working in our lives. The angels love receiving invitations to be a part of your life. Ask and you shall receive. And that is it. We cannot receive if we do not ask. And so if we think about the physical dimension, if we have a support network around us, they're not necessarily going to come in and give us the assistance that we need unless we invite them in some way or ask. And so it's the same with the spiritual dimension. There are spiritual laws. They can't just intervene because they may impact on our karma, they may impact on our soul contract. But when we ask permission, ask for protection all the time, always put like a shield of armor around yourself, but the armor's made of white light because we're working in the spiritual dimensions. We don't need physical armor, we need spiritual armor. And the way that our spiritual armor is strengthened is through our integrity, through our truth, through our behavior. You can't be a corrupt, evil person in the physical dimension and then imagine that you're a shining light in the spiritual dimension. It doesn't work that way. So everything that we do is reflected in the higher dimensions. So live your best life, darlings. It can be hard. It can be hard walking a path of truth. And we have Jesus to help us in that dimension because his message was that he is the way, the truth, and the life. So where we see mistruths or untruths, we know that we're not dealing with the Christ consciousness. So I've just split this deck and I'm going to hold it up. Ask and you shall receive. Look at that. Now, I didn't plan these. They have come out. This is the beautiful synchronicity of the spiritual dimension that I just love. And that is from John 16:24. Of course, it's a spiritual principle. And we have the Christian church to thank for passing on the tradition. And these traditions are older than the Christian church. We're in a continuum, and there are spiritual principles that don't require us to just be Christians. People are saved by their behaviour. They're saved by their heart. So if you have a good heart, things might happen to you and it might make you angry and frustrated, and you might feel like, I must be a terrible person for having these reactions. But it could be that you've actually set yourself a challenge in this lifetime. You know, if you're a long distance runner and you want to achieve something, you want to win a marathon or you want to improve your fitness, you're not going to go out onto the road or onto the roadway or the pathway to do your running and have it feel like it's just the same as laying in bed. It doesn't work that way. And so where we're challenged, where things are pushing us beyond our level of comfort, then we know that there's some higher purpose for it. If we don't know that, then we can ask God that if it's coming from any energetic forces that are not aligned with our highest good, are not aligned with our soul purpose, that God will remove those weights from our experience. So all burdens can be handed over to the Christ consciousness, to Jesus, through Yeshua, through his life, through his experience and the history that has been passed down to us. We are aware of that. So I have Our Lady of Nourishment, so I'm going to read that out shortly. But here we are. Look, I've just picked this one up, and it is the Energy deck, and it's the door to spirit. Okay, so that's number 32. Not that the number makes any significant difference there, but we are talking about getting guidance, getting information, and getting direction from the spiritual realm. So far, we have Invite a Miracle, we have Ask and you shall receive, and then we have the door to spirit. So all of this is giving us a little bit of a clue that when we're stuck and we feel like we can't move forward, or perhaps we've given up on God, perhaps we thought, well, I've asked so many times to win the lottery and it hasn't happened yet. So what is the point, all right? So I'm being a bit lighthearted there, but it's true. A lot of people think that if God was real, then when they asked to win the lottery, they would win the lottery. But actually, it's about giving thanks for everything that you have. So much of what we take for granted, beautiful homes that we live in, electricity, running water, meals, you know, those kinds of things, family, those kind of things, we just take for granted because we think, well, I've already got that. Now I need to go up to the next level. And people think, when I get the big house, I get the big car, I get the handsome boyfriend, I'll be happy. It doesn't work that way. It's like being happy no matter what your circumstances. I was homeless with 3 children about 28 years ago. And it was a long walk back from that dark place. And I did that by the grace of God. I did that by every day calling out to God and saying, I need to know that you're with me on this walk. And I certainly got signs and messages. And somehow miracles happened for me. So, and I think part of that was because God had a plan for me in my life to share that beautiful tradition of calling upon the higher power, because had I come from circumstances where it had all been laid out on a platter for me, it was all easy, it would be really hard for other people who are struggling to be able to connect to that. So just remember, it's possible. It's your heart, it's your belief, it's your faith, and that grows through testing it. So Our Lady of Nourishment is the card from the beautiful Mother Mary deck here, and this is the Alana Fairchild deck, and we have all these beautiful images. So I'm just going to read that now. Your soul is worth fighting through. Your soul is worth fighting for, and hallelujah, that is so true. Through discerning what nourishes it and what does not, and acting on that awareness. When you are hungry for light, darkness will never sate you. That means it will never satisfy you, no matter how much of it you try to consume. Mother Mary's mercy and wisdom will help you to learn what it is that you are truly hungry for and how to meet that hunger. You shall thrive. So, you know, a lot of young people are lost. It's very sad. A lot of old people are lost too. And they are going out there into the world, looking at celebrities, thinking, oh, you know, I wish I was that person. Or if I go to that nightclub, I might meet someone special. Well, you know, that's one theory. And generally what it leads to is more feelings of emptiness. So if you want to start that process of connecting, take yourself within and imagine that there's a doorway inside of you through, you could say, through the chakra systems, through the energy centers, where communication with the spirit world, with the higher realms takes place. But we must bring ourselves into the silence. We must sit still. We must know that we're not carrying lots of shame and guilt and remorse about things we've done. So if that's the case, that's another process in itself. That's another session altogether where we need to be able to try to release that. But having a sense of your own integrity, believing in yourself, knowing when you look in the mirror that you're proud of yourself, they're all really important things that help us to have a stronger connection with our God. All right, darlings, I really hope you found that helpful. I'm trying to keep it under 10 minutes. You can do a 10-minute TikTok, but people get bored very easily. And so thank you for spending this time with me. If you'd like more of my messages, please feel free to subscribe, and perhaps you might want to share it with someone else you think might benefit from it. Take care, lovelies.